This video is going to be covering scatter plots. Scatter plots show correlations. Correlations means relationships between two sets of data. So you could have three types of correlations. You could have positive correlations, negative correlations, or no correlations at all. Now, we're not going to get into how to create these types of scatter plots. We're mainly going to talk about deciding whether or not two pieces of data have a correlation at all. The way to remember what they look like, though, if this was a line graph, this would be going upward from left to right, which is a positive slope if it was a line graph. This one's going downward, so that's a negative slope, and this one's none at all. All right, so a little more about positive correlations. As one piece of data increases, so does the second. That means they're both going up. Now in class, I'm having kids point both their fingers up. That means it's a positive correlation. Now, if both of them increase, you can also turn it around and say that as one piece of data decreases, so does the second piece of data. So that means they could also go down. So then I have kids point both their fingers downward. So if your fingers are pointing in the same direction, both up, both down, it's a positive correlation either way. And it's going to look like that on the graph. All the dots going upward from left to right. Now we're going to talk about negative correlations. As one piece of data increases, the second piece of data decreases. So this is where one goes up, one goes down. I have kids pointing one finger up, one finger down. And then you could turn that around and say as one piece of data decreases, the second piece of data increases. Also, they're going in different directions. So I have kids point down then up. So that's what a graph looks like. It's going, all the dots are going downward from left to right, because as one increases, the other decreases. So now we're going to talk about just different pieces of data and if there is a type of correlation. So the first one, the outside temperature and the amount of lift ticket sales at a ski slope. So if the temperature's pretty high, you're probably not going to sell tickets to go skiing. But if the temperature's low, you're going to sell a lot of tickets. So as temperature goes down, ticket sales go up, different directions. Or you could turn it around and say as temperature goes up, ticket sales go down. That's still different directions. If you were to graph, you'd have your temperature. When your temperature's low, your ticket sales are high. When your temperature's high, your ticket sales are low. So this shows a negative correlation. All right, so this next one, the amount of math homework completed and a student's math grade. Well, most kids, if they get all their homework done, they're going to have a better math grade. So if your homework goes up, your grade goes up. They're going in the same direction. Now this is where kids can start messing up, because if you turn this statement around, as homework completion goes down, grades go down. A lot of kids will say, oh, that's negative, but they're still going in the same direction. Yeah, the kid's going to be sad and angry, and teachers are going to be mad at him, so he's in a negative situation, but the correlation between the two variables go in the same direction, so it's a positive correlation. If you graph it, a kid here didn't do much homework, their grade's going to be low. A kid who does a lot of homework is probably going to have a better math grade. Every once in a while you get the kid who doesn't do much and he still gets a decent math grade. But overall, you're going to have an upward trend from left to right. So that's a positive correlation. The amount of miles driven in a car and the amount of gas used. So if you're driving for a long time, you're using a lot of gas. So as the mileage goes up, your gas use goes up. So that's same direction. As your miles increase, your gas use increases. You could also turn that around and say the less miles you drive, the less gas you use. It's still going in the same direction. It's a positive correlation. Aerobic exercise and resting heart rate. Kids get confused with this one, because if you're exercising a lot, your heart's going to beat faster, but they're not talking about your heart rate as you're exercising. Aerobic exercise is things like running, things that get your heart beating faster. But when you're resting and you have a strong heart, your heart doesn't have to work that hard. So the more aerobic exercise you do, the lower your resting heart rate is. So as exercise goes down, if you're not exercising a lot, your resting heart rate goes up because your heart isn't as strong as it is when you're doing lots of exercise. So it's different directions. As exercise goes down, your resting heart rate goes up. You could also say as your exercise goes up, your resting heart rate goes down. Your heart doesn't have to do as much work when you're sleeping at night. So as one goes up, it goes down. So they're going in different directions. It's going downward from left to right. The more exercise you do, your resting heart rate lowers. It's a negative correlation. Some kids might get confused and say, oh, well, if you exercise a lot, that's a good thing, so it must be positive. Yeah, it's a positive result, but the correlation between your exercising and your resting heart rate is a negative correlation. Don't let the situation be confused with the correlation. All right, we're going to do a few more here. The miles driven in a car and the amount of gas left in the tank. Now, a minute ago, we talked about miles and gas used. They've changed the wording around a little bit. This is where you need to read real carefully. As you keep driving more miles in a car, the gas level on your tank, if you're looking at your gas meter in your car, the gas meter drops, showing that you have less gas in the tank. So as your mileage goes up, the gas level goes down. So they're different directions. Your miles driven, as your miles, when you start out, you haven't driven very far, your gas level's pretty high. But as you keep getting further and further along, the gas level drops. So that's a negative correlation. The percent chance of snow and milk bread purchases. Now, a lot of kids might not realize this, but when you're grown up and you hear that it's going to snow, you find you go to the store and you see it's really crowded because a lot of people are buying groceries if they get snowed in. And for some reason, everyone wants to always buy milk and bread. So, when there's a high chance of snow, a lot of people go buy milk and bread. So as the percent chance of snow goes up, purchases go up. They both go up. Also, if there's less chance of snow, people don't buy as much bread and milk. So they both go down. So they're going in the same direction. As the percent chance of snow goes higher, there's more milk and bread purchases. So it's a positive correlation. People like their milk and bread on snowy days. I don't know. All right. Hair length and shampoo used. If your hair length goes up, you're going to hopefully use more shampoo. So your shampoo use goes up. They're going in the same direction. Now, if you don't have much hair, if your hair length is, if you shave your head, you're not going to need much shampoo. So your shampoo usage goes down. They're going in the same direction, so it's a positive correlation. You don't have much hair, you don't use much shampoo. You have a lot of hair, you use a lot of shampoo. It's a positive correlation. Remaining days of school and behavior reports. Behavior reports are things that teachers fill out when kids are being naughty. So as the days go down, the behavior reports go up. So as one goes down, the other goes up. Those are different directions. That's a negative correlation. When there's maybe 1 or 2 days of school left, there's a lot more behavior reports than there are at the start of the year when there's lots of days left. So that's a negative correlation. Outside temperature and ice cream sales. In the summertime, a lot of people go to different ice cream stores. Or the ice cream trucks don't drive around in the wintertime, do they? Not that I've seen. So as temperature goes up, ice cream sales go up. They're going in the same direction. As temperature goes down, you don't see so many ice cream trucks outside. The sales of ice cream goes down. So this would be temperature increasing, ice cream sales increasing. This would be a positive correlation. Ice cream. Okay. Finally, shoe size and hair length. If your shoe size gets larger, do you have longer hair? Or if your shoe size gets larger, do you have shorter hair? Or is there even a relationship? Guys, there's no relationship here. There is no correlation. That's about it. Hope this helps. Best of luck to you.